G'day guys, welcome to our new channel. I'm Shane.
I'm Clint.
And we're just two old heads. So we originally thought about doing this new channel basically as motivation for each other as we're playing in the seniors tournaments in our area, and we've got about 3 months to prepare for the new season in 2025, and we'd both like to lose a little bit of weight and get a little fitter and see how we can go this new season, as we had some poor losses last season to guys that we thought we should have won against, but everyone says that, but we just like to get fitter and push each other a little bit. So along the way we're going to show a little bit of our home lives, in a sense of what we're eating and and not eating, and how we're training. I'm a shift working electrician.
I work in horse racing.
So we've got different lives. We both have kids and full lives. So we try to get out and hit as much as possible. And along the way, we'll show some training with my ball machine.
We'll do some racket and string reviews along the way.
Yep. So I originally started this year with my own channel, The Tennis Daddy. As Clint's the guy that I'm typically hitting with, we just thought we'd start this one together and have it a little more personable. Instead of just strings and rackets, we're going to show some actual training, some really intense training, as us old blokes do.
As you can see, we sweat.
Yeah, so we are in a rather humid environment here. It's like 75 degrees Celsius out here. No. So it's in the 30s and it's extremely humid. We are lucky to play undercover, and that's actually how we met. On a Facebook hitting partners page, and I never knew these courts existed until I came across Clint, and within the first 5 minutes we kind of established that we're both extremely psychotic about tennis. We both love our headgear, and we both have extreme IBS. So it's always a topic of conversation with us, whether we're preparing to get to the courts on time and not go into the loo, or before we're actually scheduled for a match in our tournaments, who's got to race off to the loo. He's yet to take my advice on taking gastro stop before matches, but we'll talk about that. A little more about ourselves. We'll start with Clint. How old are you?
53 in a day.
53 in a day. So Clint is okay to play in the 50 pluses, and he does in the singles sometimes. I'll be 45 in January, so we can play in the over 45s.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen, the over 45s almost looked a bit stronger than the over 40s.
Absolutely. We'll play the 40s.
So we'll see how we go there. We might mix and match depending on who's entering what tournament.
My tennis journey started when I was young, played juniors around the same time as Pat Rafter. Stopped playing when I was about 18, took it back up again about 5 years ago. Haven't stopped since. Met Shane, and we're playing the seniors tour now. So
I started when I was 7, and I played all through juniors up until about 14, and I told my dad I didn't want to play anymore because I was breaking every racket. I kept playing just your club fixtures from 14 to 17, and then I took it up again at 17 with some coaching. So I kind of missed some important years in my teens with some developmental stages in coaching. Took it up again until 34, and then stopped for 10 years. Started this year, took it up again, and now we're playing tournaments again, which is kind of cool. So we've got other things to talk about, like injuries and other impairments. We've both got some injury hindrances. Mine's quite minor with a bit of golfer's elbow. Clint's a little more serious if he wants to go into that.
Yeah, I've 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I got metastatic melanoma cancer. It was quite life-threatening. From that, I developed lymphedema in my left leg, where I've got to wear a compression garment, which restricts my movement somewhat. But luckily in doubles, I have a partner in Shane who can cover me 75% of the time. So it's all manageable. I don't move as quickly as I'd like, but I can still move.
Yeah, and I think we see with Clint, with him hitting, and he hits with some 12 UTRs sometimes. Obviously a match would be different, but hitting wise, he can keep up with stronger level guys. It's as soon as you start moving him around, that's when he notices, and he gets the shits a bit, which is understandable because you sort of remember how you could move.
Yeah. And
I couldn't imagine how that would make me feel, because movement is a huge thing in our sport, and we both don't want to play pickleball yet.
No, hell no. Hell no, hell no.
So my golfer's elbow started this year, and I think it was just a bit of overuse injury from not having played for 10 years. And then we had a 3-month session where we were just hitting up and down, and I hadn't really served. And in the first tournament, I'd played 3 hours on court. And then the week after, I played another 3 hours of fixtures, and my arm started caning. That was using Extreme Tours and Extreme Pros, a bit lighter racket than what I've always been used to. So I was swinging harder as well as the overuse too early. Went back to the Speed Pros, and that's the only thing that has dissipated my pain. I had 7 months of physio, dry needling, massage, scraping, and it wasn't doing anything really. The racket change has done it. So we're both heads.
We're two old heads using two old heads.
Yeah, so we've always loved head. I've used head since I was 15.
Yeah, I'm the same, apart from probably a year where I use Yonex. Head, to me, make the greatest range of rackets for all levels, and me using the MP 53, I use a lot of spin. It's a perfect racket for me, perfectly balanced for a long loopy swing, so it works great for me.
Yeah, and I've noticed the difference. When I first met Clint, he was using the Extreme Tour, and that's actually what got me onto the Extreme Tour, because I wasn't able to get a demo at the time, and I really wanted to try that racket, and I tried Clint's, and I was sold. So we were both using the Extreme Tours for a while. Since he's gone to the MP, there's a big difference in the penetration of his shot. So as he said, he hits with a high margin over the net, a lot of spin, but there's a lot more velocity with this MP, which is great for him. As he said, the movement's a little more restricted, but he's getting more pop on his shots now. So we've got to work on our double strategy and our positioning to try to accommodate for Clint's movement. And I'm not the best mover either. You know, I can get a bit lazy, and I'm not overly fit, and we're working on that. So we'll see how we go through this journey, and we're excited to try to bring you some sort of more of a personable approach to the tennis world, with two old blokes just enjoying our passion together, and see how we can go. We're also going to do one topic of conversation per week, and this week we are going to talk about Djokovic appointing Murray as his new head coach. Maybe it's his head coach, or maybe it's just a coach for the Australian Open Summer. I'm not too sure. I've heard various things, but what do you think, Clint, on this new news?
Fan of both players. Love Andy Murray. Great strategist, as is Novak. Novak's been through a few coaches, coming to the end of his career, I guess. Andy Murray is a great asset to anyone's team. I don't think Djokovic needs him. I think he wants someone like a Grand Slam champion in his corner.
Yep.
With that mindset too. I don't think he'll be able to talk over Andy. He won't be able to push him around. I just think it's a perfect sort of balance. A lot of people laugh at it. I think Andy is perfect for Novak. That's how I see it. And whilst he's got a coach, he's got a great hitting partner as well. And as I said, Murray's a great strategist. And anything that Novak is missing, Andy will find.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, like you said, he doesn't need him, but he wants someone, and I think that was one of the comments he said. Murray's been there, done that, and he highly respects him. They've been friends for a long time. I think they've probably had the best relationship out of the big four, let's say.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of respect there, and Andy's got a lot to give him mentally. Not that Novak needs it. I mean, the guy is probably the strongest mentally tough player we've seen ever. You know, the stuff that he has to put up with on court, where no one in the crowd is cheering for him, even if he's playing, you know, someone else that no one likes.
Yeah.
You know,
he's the villain.
He's always the villain, and he always manages just to fob it off and just gets on with it. Yeah, with a little bit of banter with the crowd, and some people don't like it, but how would you go if you went to Serbia, you know, and everyone's always chanting for this guy, and, you know, you felt a little intimidated, possibly? Maybe you would also react similarly. I don't know.
I think the other thing about the appointment, which is good too, is that Andy is universally loved.
Yeah.
Novak isn't.
Yeah.
By having Andy in his corner, I think he will get a bit more love.
Yeah.
The camera will go to Andy in the crowd. I think it's nearly a little mind games of Novak too, to have him in the corner.
He's picked well.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Had he have chosen Radak, Stepanek, or something like that, where, you know, people are a bit iffy about, but Murray, not many people dislike him.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great choice.
If he had gone with Federer, I think the clash of the fans would have been epic. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. This appointment of Murray, you know, everyone seems to love Murray, and I think in the last few years people have really warmed towards Novak. I definitely have, and so have you.
Definitely.
You know, as a Federer fan, both of us Federer fans, I'm not a Federer. I was never a Nadal fan because Federer had the one-handed backhand, and I always gravitated the Sampras and Edberg, Pat Cash back in the day. They were my players, the one-handed backhand players, so Federer naturally was that next guy. So he was always against Djokovic, and especially once Djokovic started getting on top, you know, I think we all as Federer fans started getting a little bit shirty with that and couldn't really hack it because Federer is that graceful, beautiful looking, you know, technically perfect player, so we think he's better.
Yeah.
And whilst I still think that's probably true, sorry all the Novak fans, but
Statistically, he's the best of all time.
that's right, Novak has proven that it's not about looking the most beautiful. And in saying that, when I look back at matches, I really start appreciating a lot more how Novak plays, and he's not just this defensive guy.
No.
He still belts the ball, and technically he's fantastic. You know, not as aesthetically pleasing as Federer, but no one is. You know, so yeah.
I think it's not necessarily a marketing ploy by Novak, but it's a great balanced one in regards to his tennis, outside of tennis, and on court.
Yeah.
You know, the crowds will see Andy. The crowds love Andy.
Yeah.
And if anything, if he's going for that Wimbledon record next year, having Andy, British,
Perfect.
two-time champion, he's going to get that support.
Yeah, and I think that's Novak's number one goal right now is to get that 25th Grand Slam. And, you know, that little bit extra motivation with Murray being there by his side, I think that's another element. You know, not that I think he's getting a bit sort of stale, but just something new, you know, like getting a new racket. You pep up a little bit and feel a bit good about yourself. And he's got this guy, you know, along for the ride, and they get along great, just a bit of motivation, and most likely, most definitely, a lot of good advice, you know. And Novak has proven he probably can do it on his own, like Federer did for a lot of his career there. He probably played some of his best tennis on his own.
I just think also having a friendly face, a friend in his camp.
Yep.
You know, like Goran, you know, they were friendly, but him and Andy are friends.
That's right.
You know, and there is not a lot of players that are close to Novak. You can say Kyrgios is, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's for the cameras there,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they are now. They just flipped the switch and just got over the beef. But a lot of that's probably because Novak's quite welcoming. You know, as much as people want to hate him, I think the guy is quite welcoming to others. And Kyrgios had a lot of negativity towards him, yet Novak was able just to flip it around and say, hey mate, you know, we're all good. And now they get along seemingly quite well, which I almost thought it would have been quite funny if Kyrgios was in his corner as his coach for a little while he's injured, but probably not a good call for Novak, you know.
Kyrgios coaching anyone is not a good call.
No. Well, he did say that he would like to get into coaching after tennis, so we'll see how that goes.
Hard pass.
It'd be pretty funny, I think. It'd be a roller coaster for whoever's getting coached by him. But yeah, so overall, I think we both agree Andy is a great acquisition for Novak there. Different reasons, you know, towards it, and just motivation and just something new, a friendly face. Great advice, a guy that's been there, he respects. There's just so many variables there that, you know, I'm hoping that Novak can get that 25th.
Me too.
You know, as someone that's always cheered against the guy, I was hoping he was going to win, you know, this year, sorry, that 25th. I was rooting for him, and I'd never done that before because Federer was playing and all the rest of it. But, you know, Novak really has, you know, shown that he's quite a funny guy, and
absolutely,
you know,
he's got personality.
And he's got personality. He's quite personable, you know, and he's definitely a family man, as we are, as most of you guys out there probably are as well. I can respect how the guy, you know, has his family there all the time, and
family's not there for the cameras. The family's there for him.
Yeah,
you know?
And his interaction with his kids. You know, I know people didn't like the whole violin thing, you know, but that was apparently for his daughter. He was looking straight at his daughter every time. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cute, you know. I've got two daughters, and you know, if I was that good at tennis, I'd probably do something that silly on court as well. just so they know that I'm thinking of them, even though I'm on centre court kicking ass. The hate is always going to be there with the greats, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, Michael Jordan, Federer, Ali, Tiger Woods, every
Nobody
great.
hates a sportsman any better than an Australian.
That's right. Yeah, that's us Aussies. We really get on the hate train, you know. And mate, we are the same. We've done it. We're still doing it. You know, we all do it. I think you just got to admit that we do it and just embrace it.
Yeah.
But we also get on that winning train as well.
Absolutely.
Like Novak certainly is. So. Yeah, overall, great move from Novak, we think, and looking forward to see how that goes. So guys, if you want to like and subscribe to the channel, it would be great. Yep, please do, and we'll try to bring you some great content with our journey towards winning a tournament next year. That is our goal, and we'll see how we go along the way. Some training videos, as we said, and
feel free to comment, engage.
That's it.
Give us some tips. Trial and error for us, so we'll see how we go.
That's it. So we're very new to this, and hopefully we can get some good content for you guys. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
That's gay. Eat your fucking heart out. Wow.